For those of you who follow finance updates and news, you might have heard about CC4 stock. However, stick with us if you want to know further. In this video, we will give you the complete CC4 stock analysis as well as explain everything you need to know. So keep watching to find out why you should buy CC4 at its current price. So without any further ado, let's dive right in.
Now, as the Chinese say, all great battles are won without fighting.
The first question we'll address is what CC4 is. CC4, or Churchill Capital IV for full, is an SPAC. It was founded by Michael Klein. Michael Klein is the man behind Michael & Company. SPAC stands for Special Purpose Acquisition Company, and such companies are also known as blank check companies. These shell companies have the purpose of raising IPO capital and then eventually acquire another private company. This way, the private company that has been acquired does not have to go through the traditional procedures of publicizing itself. SPACs like CC4 didn't hold any operations themselves. They don't have a product and they don't carry out any of the processes of production. Rather, SPACs exist only to raise money with IPO and then eventually buy up another company. When this happens, the original investors of the SPAC can either switch their shares in the SPAC for the mergers won, or simply redeem their invested amount along with the interest that has gathered during the period between the IPO and the acquisition. SPACs have become quite popular these days as they have backing of even the richest billionaires such as Richard Branson. Now that the important piece of information is out of the way, we can come back to our topic for today, CC4. CC4 commenced its initial public offering or IPO on July 30th of last year. It offered 180 million units at $10 each. And then back in February, Churchill Motors came together with Lucid Motors in a merger at an equity valuation of more than $11 billion. However, following the merger, there was a deep plunge in the market for CC4. It fell by about 30%, despite the fact that the merger has brought Lucid into competition with Tesla. And about Lucid, as you may have already guessed, it's an electric vehicle company that was previously private but is now publicly listed thanks to the merger. When we look at CC4's trading history, specifically the one-year trading chart, we see some major ups and downs. This year alone, Churchill Capital spiked up to about $66, but before that, it did trade flat for some time. The boost could be accredited to all the rumors surrounding CC4 and Lucid Motors coming together. These speculations alone drove CC4 up to its record highs. Then afterwards, when the merger was finalized, the trend became bearish and CC4 plunged. And then another slight spike during March. CC4 has pretty much consistently been trading down ever since. This could be attributed to the entire electric vehicle market in general being down for the last few months. And that in turn could possibly be because a lot of EV investors are not the most comfortable right now and are selling their stocks that they've held on to for a while. And this is the case with most high-growth stocks. Hence, the high-growth stock of Lucid Motors isn't any different, and this is impacting CC4 stock as well. But could this dip be turned into an advantage? Some of you might be familiar with the concept of buying the dip. It's when you buy up fallen stocks at their low prices in hopes of the prices going up in the future. This way, you make returns when the stock recovers as you had bought it at a steal price. So why would you want to do this with CC4? While Lucid Motors may have led to a fall in the short term, it doesn't take away its potential as a public electric vehicle company. Lucid Motors has the chance to be a major Tesla rival. What that means is that it would be face-to-face with one of the biggest and most popular EV companies in the near future. That alone is something to be excited about. Another thing is that Lucid Motors is already a well-established company with a name and direction of its own. It is nothing like some of the other EV companies that have IPO'd and that haven't built their ground yet. Lucid Motors has an entire production line ready in Arizona and it's already in shape with plans. Not to mention how the company also has plans to build a factory in Saudi Arabia. The country even has $1 billion backing on the company. This vision makes Lucid a solid partner for CC4. And this of course also means that Lucid Motors has the potential to grow. And as we all know, EVs are the next big thing. It's an ever-growing industry with tons of potential, so becoming a part of all those gains in money seems like a very sensible thing to do. But Lucid Motors as an individual company has also been operating in a great manner. It has been making continual attempts to recruit some amazing individuals. These include executives who have already worked for huge companies like Rivian and Apple. This also means that Lucid Motors has a lot of chances of having a bright future. However, one of the biggest hindrances to both CC4 and Lucid Motors right now is the fact that the merger hasn't sold any cars yet. CC4 and Lucid Motors have been one and the same thing for a few months now, but they haven't sold even a single car. Well, this is probably because there were some production delays with CC4, but thankfully, these delays will be fixed in the second half of this year. But nevertheless, no cars have been sold. Also, considering the fact that there's currently a serious shortage of chips for the electric vehicle industry, and this has also affected even the best of companies. But needless to say, these shortages aren't expected to last very long. This means that once the market has recovered and finally has some chips to process, it will continue contributing to the ways our world is becoming more and more advanced. Lucid Motors will of course be in the midst of all this and will benefit from the overall growth of the EV industry. Considering the longer run is sometimes the better way of going about finance, and you should also keep this in mind when looking into CC4 and Lucid Motors. Not to forget how Lucid Motors is putting a brand new contribution into the EV field. It's called the Lucid Air, and it's absolutely gorgeous. It has more than 1,000 horsepower and amazing interiors. You can check out the model on Lucid Motors' official page by simply typing in Lucid Air. But apart from that, there are some speculations too that it'll be Lucid that Apple will partner up with to launch its own separate electric car. Of course, those are just rumors and there haven't been any official statements at this stage. However, it only goes to show that there is some sense of acknowledgement of Lucid Motors' potential in the long term. People expect it to become even more prominent as an EV company, especially a public one courtesy of CC4 in the future. So with all of those factors given, this is obviously a good sign for CC4 stock. Lucid would be competing with America's biggest electric car company, and CC4 stock will likely be going up. Its current position under dollars can be attributed to many factors, and most of them show that it isn't the company itself that's at fault. Most EV stocks are falling despite the fact that the industry is putting out amazing vehicles and products and making great deliveries. Yet somehow, their stocks just keep going down. So that just explains that once whatever it is that's blocking growth is cleared up, it'll be only uphill from there. With that being said, you should understand the speculative nature of this video. While it seems that Churchill Capital will grow despite its current falls, this is still based in guesses rather than fact. It's not certain when and if Churchill Capital will eventually recover and then go upscale from there. Therefore, before making any decisions, you should carefully look into the stock itself, and if you find it to have potential, carry out your own research and only then reach conclusions, as none of this has been financial advice so far. Relying on experts is more viable, and you should be very careful with your money. You can always ask for expert advice from the virtually thousands of registered finance advisors out there. But bottom line, always be very careful before investing. With that advice, the video comes to an end. So what are your predictions about CC4 stock? Let us know in the comments below. Also, make sure to subscribe to our channel where we release interesting content every other day. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, and with that, we'll see you next time.